Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Position Imaging. I'm Taylor Ringgold, and today I have a really great guest. It's Matthew Knoff. Matt is the VP of Strategic Partnership at Position Imaging. Matt, thank you so much for joining me today.
Great. Taylor, great to be here. Happy to talk about Position Imaging and all the things we're doing in the space.
Yes, very exciting stuff. We have a lot to break down. So let's get right into it. Matt, why don't you tell some of the people that are watching for the first time what you do exactly at Position Imaging?
It's a unique role, which I thoroughly enjoy because it allows me, in my role, I more or less look for strategic partners that allow Position Imaging either to expand our footprint, expand our services, expand our sales channels, and then also even expand our hardware or even technology by partnering with companies that are either directly in the package management space or who provide services to potential clients of ours. So having a partner, looking for these partnerships, basically it allows a small company with, we're a startup based in New Hampshire, but it gives us a lot more of a reach in a lot of different areas that we normally wouldn't be able to support or even have access to. So more at the end of the day, it's reaching out to channel partners, for lack of a better term, and explaining to them the services and products that we offer. And more often than not, when they actually hear what we do, how we do it, the uniqueness of our technology, they're pretty much on board with working with us.
So basically, you have a very important role for what I'm trying to understand here. Very important role to be able to get the job done. So, Matt, we're going to actually talk about right now some of those strategic partners that you guys are currently working with right now. And I would love to jump right in with one of the, I actually read the PR article here about NCR. So why don't you tell me about NCR and what you guys are doing with that?
Well, thank you, Taylor. All the hard work and for a minute though goes to the team and the engineers and the designers and the hardware design engineers. They're the ones that actually they create the magic. All I'm trying to do is help get the message out there about the magic that we're creating. So I just wanted to take a moment. They're the main magic makers. I'm just a facilitator, quite frankly.
Yeah. So why don't we get into what you're doing with NCR, and we have a few others, but being that I read this really important, this PR statement here, it looks like there's a lot of things going on here.
Absolutely. Well, NCR, National Cash Register, the way that I describe them to people, they're one of the most venerable names in American business. They invented the cash register in, I believe, 1860. You can look that up. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. And since then, the NCR has grown and evolved to becoming a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company with 30,000 employees globally. Why are we working with them? Well, they're the largest installers of kiosks in the world. In addition to that, they maintain them, they service them, and frankly, they have expertise in areas that we are just touching upon, and one of them being retail. If you go into any retail store and you pay your cash register, next time you're there, just take a minute and look at the cash register. You're going to see 3 initials on it called NCR. They're the largest provider of point of sale systems globally as well. So more or less every retail store, whether it's Macy's or Fairway or Whole Foods, pretty much utilizes their technology. Now, how they work, they actually go in and install the hardware, install their software, and service it. Now, how does that relate to us? So I'm going to take a step back and give you, we have an pickup point platform. What that means is that's really 3 different lines of business. One is for PUDO, which is pickup drop off. And that really services the carriers such as UPS, FedEx, all those types of large carriers. And basically what it is, it allows them to deliver packages to safe spaces. And what I mean by that is a retail environment and not necessarily leaving it out on the street or leaving it in somebody's home or putting it in front of a locker. It's basically a shelving system with our software on it, our kiosk, which allows a courier and a customer to deliver and receive a package in a retail environment. Now, what's NCR's role in that? Well, as being the largest installer of kiosks globally, we've partnered with them because we have an opportunity in the UK and the EU with UPS. UPS, of course, we're all familiar with them. They're the largest carrier in the world. There are laws in the EU and the UK called GDPR, which prevent couriers from leaving packages on people's doorsteps. With that in mind, UPS needs to find an alternative way to deliver packages. That's where the retail locations come into play. Our technology, our software, and our hardware allows them to deliver to these locations, and then the recipients receive a text message with a QR code or a PIN on their mobile device. They go into the store, they scan it, the system identifies their package, they pick it up, everything gets photo, time, and date stamped, documented. UPS gets their package delivered. Our service provides, a needed source of technology, and the retail location also it provides additional foot traffic to the store. Now, NCR's role in all of this is we don't have installers on the ground in the UK or the EU. So what we did is we set up a master services agreement with NCR and more or less trained them on how to install our hardware, how to maintain our hardware, how to service our hardware, and also more importantly, they provide third-party remote technical support. Now, why would they do something like this? It's because they see the value and the opportunity, the value of our technology and the opportunity before all of us, both them and us, in the sense that UPS currently has 25,000 access points, they call them, in Europe. They want to expand that to 40,000. So what we've done is we've achieved this master services agreement. So NCR they install our kiosks, they test it, and they service them. And then also we have third-party remote technical support. And what does that mean? Well, they have locations globally, so they can speak multiple languages. So as a small startup based in New Hampshire, we don't necessarily have a large technical support team on call 24 hours a day. With NCR, they give us that ability to have that resource and service available for our customers. So if you're in France and you call at 3 a.m. here in New York, which is 9 a.m. in France, you'll get a customer support agent who speaks French, knows our product, and typically will be able to help service and support that customer. Those are the broad strokes. So that's the one master services agreement, which covers hardware, software, technical support. Now, the beauty of the relationship is because they are so expansive, we've also signed adoption agreements in the United States, the UK, France, Germany, and Switzerland, and soon the Czech Republic. And more or less what that means is any customers that we get in those countries, they'll be able to install our hardware, service it, support it, technically support it, and more or less provide all the services that, frankly, we don't have the manpower to provide. And that is, in a nutshell, that is the first point of partnership with NCR. There's two more as well.
Wow, that was a lot of information, but congratulations. This is a big thing for you guys from what now I'm understanding. How does it, why don't I ask this one question that you can kind of break down the other two, but how does this feel to have something like this going on at Position Imaging? This is a massive deal for you guys.
It's a big deal. It's really exciting. Working with large companies, it's, how do I put it? One of the hallmarks of a startup is we move quickly and we get things done in an efficient way. Working with large multinational corporations, things are a little different. So negotiating this agreement, I'll be frank with you, took about 12 months to complete. Right. And it was a lot of lawyers, a lot of paperwork, 40-page agreements that had to be read and reread. But what that has done, all that work up in the beginning has now allowed us, so whenever we want to add a new country, it's literally just a 2-page adoption agreement that mirrors the master services agreement. So it now gives us the ability to expand into a lot of different areas very quickly. But the initial groundwork needed to establish that was a very time-consuming process. Now, why would NCR choose to work with us? Great question. They're one of the innovators of self-checkouts. So all the cash registers that you use, that where you go to a supermarket or you go to a Whole Foods or you go to any other type of store and you do the self-checkout, those are NCR kiosks, for lack of a better term. So there's a lot of overlap in our technology and their technology. So it's kind of a really good match. And on that front, I'm going to shift to another area that we're working with them on, and that's in retail. We have a product, and it's all within the iPickup Point platform. It's a product that addresses BOPIS, which is buy online, pick up in store. And the beauty of it is it pretty much utilizes the same hardware through our kiosk. And then we have these iClips that get installed in a retail environment. And so let's say you're a customer and you buy something online, but you want to go pick it up in the store. Traditionally, a lot of retail stores have someone sitting at a counter. You go in, you're like, hey, I bought my, Game Boy and I'm here to pick it up. Then they have to go back and they have to look at the shelving and they give it to you. What our system does, it allows you to create a self-service pen, for lack of a better term. Again, using the same technology. Customer comes in, they scan their QR code, they get let into the system, and we have a series of iClips, we call them, which light up, let them know where their product is. They grab their product, they put it back, and then they leave. The benefit in all this is NCR, because of all the point of sale systems, it's very easy for us to integrate into their software. So when somebody does purchase something online, all that information is pushed over to our platform. And then we literally, the way, everybody talks about last mile delivery, we're like the last 50 feet. We're the actual end of the line where the person actually retrieves the package itself. What we now allow them to do is expand their services to their existing clients by offering a buy online, pick up in store solution. And not that we're in the business of replacing jobs, but the way I put it is you can repurpose those people typically sitting at the counter waiting for someone to come in. You can now repurpose them into sales. If you're a 2,000 store retailer, and you have one employee sitting at that desk every day, and let's say you're paying them $15 an hour, and you have 2,000 stores, if you can repurpose that person into sales, which I think all retailers want, you save that company $18 million annually.
Whoa.
Right.
That is a big number.
That is a big number. And I'll tell you, our hardware and software does not cost $18 million. So it's a very good return on their investment.
Sure.
So just to take a step back. So NCR is doing all the installation, the service, and maintenance of our Pudo product. Well, we also now have a click and collect, is what they call it in the UK, or BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store, we call in the US, which is our iClip. So then you have the iPickup Point for couriers, you have the retail solution for stores and purchasers, and then so basically they're they're the largest. They service 30% of the retail market in the UK and 20% of the retail market in the EU. So again, it's an expanded product offering they don't necessarily have. They can offer their clients, and all the same agreement components, the installation, the maintenance, the tech support, all then fall under that larger master services agreement. So now you have two products that they can install for us, service and support. And, without getting into it, obviously there's a economic benefit to all three of us. What I mean by that, the retailer, us, and NCR, and all these relationships. So I know that people throw the win-win-win around a lot. It's 4 wins. It's a win-win-win-win. What I mean by that, it's a win for the retail location, whether you're accepting packages because they get a little bit of a compensation from UPS, We also get a compensation from UPS. NCR gets compensation for the installation. And then ultimately, and most importantly, the customer or the consignee or the recipient, they get to utilize technology to expedite their whole experience of shopping. So now it modernizes stores. And again, like I said, brings the user experience for the end user. It just brings it up another level and utilizing technology. Because people like to, and it's not for everyone, but some people like to go in, they scan the QR code, they pick up their package, they're out. They don't even need to talk to anybody. And everything is photo time and date stamped. So that is another part of the relationship with NCR is they are, giving us access to retailers that, quite frankly, we wouldn't have access to because they're already managing the point of sale systems at all these retail locations. So there's another aspect of the partnership, and that's the channel partnership, almost the sales aspect of it, is that we now have access to their customers, and then they have reasons to go back to their customers because they have a new service. And actually, I meant to touch upon this in the beginning. Large corporations, they're not, how do I put it? They're not known necessarily for innovation, whereas small startups like ourselves, that's primarily what we do. So it's a very symbiotic relationship where we're bringing a lot of new technology. And I'll just take a moment to talk about our computer vision, and our systems utilize computer vision, artificial intelligence, data from the cloud, and mobile devices. And between those four, it's an extremely modern retail experience that, frankly, NCR doesn't have the time, the resources, or the wherewithal to develop that. So now, again, it's an excellent partnership in the sense they get to bring new technology to the market, and we have a support system that services and supports our technology and gives us access to countries and stores we normally wouldn't have access to.
You know what is so important from this whole partnership and you describing all this information is that with a massive company like NCR, they still need help. And that's what's so interesting with a successful mega company like theirs. They still need innovation. They still need new technology. And Position Imaging comes right in and says, let's bring our services. Let's work together. And not only you guys are killing it in the U.S., but internationally, now you guys are all over the place. And I think that is so important when you're dealing with any kind of company. And I think that's what's awesome to hear when you have smaller companies thriving, working with bigger mega companies that have had success for decades. And they say like, hey, look, we need a little bit of help. And that is also a really interesting thing to see, that a big company like NCR is like, hey, look, we're great, but we can admit when we're not great at something else and we need a little bit more help. So let's work on something. So without further ado, let's get into our last partnership topic here is Air New Zealand. This is something I'm really interested to hear about, the electronic luggage tag that you guys are trying to do with them. So why don't you break that down for us?
So the relationship with Air New Zealand is unique. What we're developing is a digital bag tag. Digital bag tags are a more or less a device that you would pair with your luggage, and then obviously your mobile device. And what it allows the airlines to track and receive and deliver your baggage in a timely manner. And if something does happen or something does get lost, it's again, same technology, very traceable, very findable. I don't know if everyone was paying attention over the last year to the news articles about all the lost luggage. I think, okay, that photo at Heathrow where all the baggage was piled up. One of the unfortunate outcomes from the pandemic was that the whole travel industry retracted, and then it came back. But the problem is baggage handling was a very manual process historically with all these airlines and airports. The people that were baggage handlers, they didn't come back after the pandemic. So there's a tremendous labor shortage at all the airports globally. This is not even just with Air New Zealand. This is globally. This is at Heathrow. This is at JFK. Baggage handling, baggage management. There's a shortage of labor to perform that task. So it's interesting. That's where technology comes in. So what our technology and what we're developing with Air New Zealand is a digital bag tag, which communicates to their baggage management systems at the induction or intake point. And it's all basically, have you ever seen an AirTag? Apple has an AirTag.
Yes.
So, right, exactly. The best way to describe that, it's similar to an AirTag, except with an AirTag, it's literally just you, your AirTag, and your phone. And it just lets you know where your bag is. And that's it pretty much. There's no integration with the baggage management systems at the airports and the airlines. What we're developing with Air New Zealand is a digital bag tag that allows the scanning system and the induction point to immediately identify which bag is going to which city on which airlines. And then what that does is it expedites the whole baggage handling process. So, and then it gets on the plane. In addition to that, and this is actually a really important aspect, by knowing where bags are going in advance, it allows them to more strategically load the plane. And the more strategically loaded a plane is with cargo, the less fuel it uses. And I know that sounds interesting or unexpected, and fuel is the number one cost of all airlines. So just to break it down, the digital bag tag helps them load cargo in a more logical manner, which makes the planes more fuel efficient. And that's just one aspect. But the difference between that and an AirTag is that we're integrated with these back-end baggage management systems run by the airlines and then the airports. So then even if you're interlining is the phrase used when you switch from one airline to another, the bag tag will also communicate with, because there are a couple universal baggage management systems globally. And so our tag will be able to communicate with all the different baggage management systems globally. So it's baggage induction, cargo loading, but more importantly, as a end user, as a customer, as a passenger, we can integrate with the app of whatever that airline is, and we can track your bag. And then when it arrives at your destination city, it's obviously you know exactly where it is, when it's coming out. And a lot of products currently have, there's a couple products similar to it. But the interesting aspect of what we're doing is the full integration with the back end. Now, Air New Zealand is so keen on our technology that they actually made an investment in position imaging. They have financially committed themselves to the product because they believe so strongly in our technology and in our hardware. So Air New Zealand is a very, is an investor in position imaging right now, and with the goal of developing this digital bag tag, testing it, proving it in New Zealand, and then ultimately there's a alliance called the Star Alliance, which is a series of airlines that are work together for planning flights and inter-airlining and traveling in general. Where we're going with all of this is hopefully we want to introduce the digital bag tag to the entire Star Alliance as a common solution that allows all airlines and airports to track and manage baggage. The most important part, and I left this out, was also the user experience. As a passenger, you can pair the bag tag with your luggage on a mobile app from your home. So that when you get to the airport, as long as you check into your flight, you pair your luggage. Then when you get to the airport, you literally just drop your bag off and go to your flight. So again, going all the way back to the user experience, I think we all can relate how stressful when you go into the airport, you have to print out those long stickers, and then you tie them around correctly, and did I do this right? And is this facing, et cetera? And it's...
Yeah, and you also have like 3 or 4 kids screaming, and you have just like put it
Exactly.
around, right?
Exactly.
And you're stressing out, you're late for your flight. Yeah, there's no one wants to do that.
Yes, 100%. And this product will hopefully expedite that whole process and just make it a better experience for everyone at the airport. Now, there's a couple other players in the space that we're in the very, very early stages of partnering with. And I can't necessarily refer to them, but I think you would all know who they were. So we have another partnership utilizing the same concept, baggage tracking, who are just in the very early stages of that partnership. And then I'm trying to, and then as far as Air New Zealand, that's pretty much the summary of it is they are working and have invested in us to develop a digital bag tag. It's been a problem for the airline industry. Even in December, I put together a compendium of about 12 articles about all the different travel woes. Remember Southwest, what just happened a couple weeks ago with Southwest, right? Or a couple months ago over the holidays. I could go on and on. And all of it is, if you read every single article, the issue is it's dated technology. All of these airlines and airports are using dated technology. That's not necessarily their fault. I mean, there's a lot of different variables at play here. One of them being the pandemic really hit the travel industry hard. Simultaneously, a lot of them don't necessarily control the airports. They're owned by municipalities. So there's a lot of different variables that impact it. But the one thing that we can do as a technology company in partnership with airlines is just we can create a product that will work better with their system, improve the customer experience at the airport, and give you the ability to track and manage, securely monitor your bag's location.
Out of the three we just discussed today, personally, this is the most appealing to me because I have a lot of family all over the country and I travel a lot.
Yep.
And, with the recent news, there has become an added stress to traveling to the airport because knowing that there could be a possibility that I will never get my luggage back. Or the process.
It's a definite possibility.
Right. Or when a flight gets canceled, am I going to get my luggage? Am I going to have to wait 2, 3, 4 hours for it? So knowing that there's this new technology on the rise and knowing publicly Air New Zealand is one of them, this is only the beginning for you guys, knowing that this technology is going to be spreading. And I have a really strong feeling for this, that this is going to be a brand new technology globally. It'd be stupid for other companies not to use it, because if it's working, and not only is the airport experience better for the consumer, the experience flying is easier, the airlines are having an easier time, there's less stress for them, and the airports are having less stress. It sounds like a no-brainer to me, and I'm very excited for you guys that you're getting involved in this. And to be honest, I don't know how this hasn't been implemented like 20 years ago. Maybe the technology hasn't been here yet, but like I've been waiting for something like this.
Taylor, you're not wrong. It's a lot of airlines and companies have been playing around with this idea for literally the last 10 years, but nobody's really cracked the nut. Nobody's really come up with a product that works universally every time and provides a better customer experience across the board. But yes, it is exciting. I travel a lot myself, and it's I've been places where my luggage never showed up. So exactly.
Jeez, it's a scary thing, because sometimes you're either by yourself and it's a duffel bag, and it's just you got clothes for 2 days.
That's right.
And then or you're on a family vacation for a week and a half, and then it's all gone. So I've been very lucky and fortunate that it's not happened to me. Let's all knock on wood, knock on everything right now, because I don't want that. But this is all very exciting stuff. Matt, thank you so much for joining me today. We learned a ton about what Position Imaging is up to doing in the partnership business. This is really exciting news, and I can't wait to have you on again. So, Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate your time and your questions, and it was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
For everyone listening, thank you for joining Position Imaging, and we'll see you next time.